Have you been struggling knowing where to start when solving equations that have variables on both sides? Do you get stuck knowing when or how to move the variables to the same side of the equal sign? Make sure you stay until the end of this video so I can clear up these common points of confusion when solving equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign using 3 easy steps. All right, we're going to go through a couple of problems. I'm going to start with one of the more simple problems. First step is to always look at each side of the equal sign individually and see if there's anything you can simplify. So in this case, there's nothing I can simplify because looking at this left side, we don't have any like terms we can combine, or the right side, you look at them individually. That's kind of why I draw the line down through the equal sign. And then second step is move the variables to the same side of the equal sign. You notice we have a 5x on one side and a 3x on the other. I like to move the smaller one, so 3 is smaller than 5. So I'm going to move the smaller one just because it makes a positive number in front of the variable, the coefficient. Okay, so to move it, we have to do the opposite operation, because if you want to move something to the other side of the equal sign, you have to do the opposite. So opposite of a positive 3x is negative or minus 3x. But anything we do to one side, we have to do to the other side of the equal sign to keep the two sides equal or balanced. And I like to line up my terms, so I put it right below my other x value so that we can combine or simplify. So we have 5x minus 3x reduces to 2x. We have a plus 7 that we can bring down equals 3x minus 3x is 0. So I'm just going to put a 0 through it and bring down that negative 23. So the third and final step is solve for x. So this is now a two-step equation, which you would have done before moving on to equations with variables on both sides. So we're going to start by getting rid of what is added or subtracted onto our variable. So there's a plus 7. Opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. Anything we do to one side, do to the other. 7 minus 7 is 0. So I'm going to bring down that 2x equals negative 23 minus 7 is negative 30. All right, so we still want x by itself. It's being multiplied by 2. Anytime a number and variable are next to each other, we know it means they're multiplied together. So the opposite operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by 2. But anything we do to one side, you have to do the same thing to the other. 2 divided by 2 reduces to 1, or cancels out. So we're left with 1x, which we can just write as x, equals, on the other side, negative 30 divided by 2 is negative 15. All right, so that was a simple equation where we didn't have to do anything that first step. We're going to do another simple equation on the first step. The only difference is I like to separate my two sides. This one's slightly different. So we don't have anything we can reduce on the left side. There's no like terms. There's nothing to distribute. Nothing we can reduce on that right side. We have a 4y and a 7y. So we're moving on to that second step of moving the variables to the same side. I like to move my smaller one, 4 is smaller than 7, just because I don't want to get a negative in front of my variable. It just adds an extra piece. It's okay if you just always want to move your variables to the left, that's fine. But I like to just move the smaller one. That's my process. So opposite of positive 4y to move it is negative or minus 4y on both sides. Anything I do to one side, I do to the other. 4y minus 4y is 0. I'm going to bring down that positive 2 equals, now again I lined up my terms that I'm going to subtract. 7y minus 4y gives us 3y. Bring down that minus 16. Okay, to get y by itself now, last step, just isolate the y, get it by itself. I'm going to get rid of the minus 16 by adding 16 to both sides. Okay, reduce. We have 2 plus 16 is 18. Equals, that 3y comes down. There's nothing that I'm going to reduce. The negative 16 plus 16 is 0. We still don't have y by itself. It's being multiplied by 3. Opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. Anything you do to one side, do to the other. 3 divided by 3 cancels out, leaving us with just y equals 18 divided by 3 is 6. If you want to flip it around, you can. So you have y equals 6 for your answer. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of problems where you do have to simplify in that first step. Okay, I'm still going to separate the two sides. All right, we want to, if we look at this left side, see we have like terms we can combine. So we can combine the 2x plus 3x. So that's the first step, simplify each side. So 2 plus 3 is 5, so we have 5x. Bring down that minus 9 equals the right side. There's nothing to simplify, so I'm just going to bring it down as 11 plus x. Now I move on to that second step of moving the variables to the same side. All right, we have a 5x and a positive 1x. Remember, x is the same thing as 1x. I'm going to put a 1 there. 1x is smaller than 5x, so I'm going to move that one. Opposite of plus 1x is minus 1x. Anything I do to one side, do to the other. Again, line up those like terms. Okay, so 5x minus 1x is 4x. Bring down the minus 9 equals 11. 1x minus 1x is 0, so that just goes away. Now we're to that last step of solving for x, so isolate the variable. When we're at a two-step equation, we want to get rid of what's added or subtracted onto x, so we're going to get rid of that minus 9 by adding 9. Again, line it up. Anything we do to one side, do to the other, so put it right, the plus 9 right below the 11. Now we're going to simplify. Okay, 9 minus 9 is 0, meaning on the left, we're left with just 4x equals 11 minus 9 is 20. All right, x is still being multiplied by 4, so we want to get rid of that 4 by doing the opposite operation of division. So we're going to divide by 4. We have to do the same thing to both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1, or they cancel out, so we're left with x equals 20 divided by 4 is 5. All right, let's look at one more where you really have to do some reducing. Let's see. I'm going to separate the two sides. And if we're looking at this, you can see that we're really going to have to do some simplifying first. The left side we have to distribute. Remember, anytime there's a number in front of a parenthesis, you multiply it by everything inside. So I'm going to start on the left. Each side separate. 2 times 5y is 10y. Bring down the plus in between. 2 times 7 is 14 equals, on this right side, we have an 8y minus 3 plus 9. So that minus 3 and the plus 9 are like terms, so we can combine them. Just going to bring down the 8y so it's out of the way. But negative 3 plus 9 is positive 6. Remember, include the operation in front of the term so you remember that it's negative 3. That part's important. All right, now we're going to move our variables to the same side. Okay, we have a 10y and an 8y on opposite sides. I'm going to move the smaller, 8 smaller. Opposite of positive 8y is minus 8y. Anything we do to one side, do to the other. Now we're going to reduce. 10y minus 8y is 2y. Bring down that plus 14 equals 8y minus 8y is 0. Bring down that positive 6. Now the last step is to solve for y. Get rid of what's added or subtracted on. There's a plus 14 on that y, so opposite is minus 14. Anything we do to one side, do to the other. 14 minus 14 is 0. So go ahead and 0 it out. Then we have a 2y left. Equals, on the right side, 6 minus 14 is negative 8. Y is still being multiplied by 2. Opposite is to divide by 2. Anything you do to one side, do to the other. 2 divided by 2 cancels out, leaving us with 1y or y equals negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. All right, I want you to see if you can do the same 3 steps, on a couple of practice problems. All right, here are 2 for you to try. Pause the video here and then press play when you're ready for me to go through the answers with you. So the best way to actually see if you've learned it is to make an attempt and then check and see if you made any errors. So hopefully you've tried them. I'm going to go through the problems with you really quickly. So on this first one, you didn't have anything to simplify on either side, so you moved your variables first. I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. So we have 6x minus 6x is 0. 8x minus 6x is 2x. Brought down the plus 7 equals 15. Okay, then you got the variable by itself. So we're going to subtract 7 on both sides. Opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. 7 minus 7 is 0, leaving us with 2x equals 15 minus 7 is 8. X is being multiplied by 2. Opposite is to divide by 2 on both sides. 2 divided by 2 cancels out, leaving us with x equals 4. Hopefully you got that. And if you didn't, I'm hoping that you see your error so that you can fix it. All right, we're going to distribute 2. So 2 times x is 2x plus 2 times 3 is 6. Common error is to forget to do the 2 times 3. Equals, on this side we can do 3x minus 2x is 1x, which you can write as x, plus 9. We're going to move our variables to the same side. So I'm going to subtract 1x on both sides. 1x minus 1x is 0. 2x minus 1x, you can write it as 1x or just x, plus 6, equals, we're left with just 9. Now to get the variable by itself, you should have subtracted 6 on both sides. 6 minus 6 is 0, leaving you with x equals 9 minus 6 is 3. Hopefully those 3 steps of simplifying both sides of the equal sign, moving the variables to the same side, and then isolating the variable, so solving the 2-step equation for x. Hopefully that helped you to solve equations with variables on both sides. Thank you.